Narcissists are in a constant state of looking for new people that they might have good use for. So they are in a constant state of testing people. And in this video, I want to talk about several of the methods that they use to test possible new victims so that you can both look out for these methods and maybe through introspection consider some ways that you may be inadvertently passing these tests. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I am providing links below for you. So I'm just going to dive right into these methods that narcissists use to test people. The first one being they flatter you. Narcissists use flattery in order to test how effective it is on certain people. And I really think that different narcissists have different skill levels when it comes to the flattery they use. Some of them might be really good at seeming really sincere, while some of them might be really corny and really awful at it. But either way, flattery can be a really useful tool for them to kind of test people to see who buys their flattery, who cares about their opinion, who can they sweet talk into things. And you might ask yourself, what's the difference between flattery and sincere compliments? Because a narcissist might say something to you like, you look really pretty today, while maybe somebody that actually means it, that actually wants to just make you feel good, might say exactly the same thing. Well, flattery is insincere, while compliments are sincere. And flattery is done with ulterior motives. The person that flatters someone is trying to get something out of that transaction, while the person that compliments somebody is really just trying to make them feel good. But as to how to tell the difference, I don't really have any foolproof ways to be able to tell the difference. But I think that most of us get a sense when somebody doesn't really mean what they're saying, when they're just throwing out compliments until one sticks. And I think this is also a good example of a good reason to get to know people for a while before we give them any of our trust. To get to know them for a while before we decide whether or not they're just flattering us or they really mean it. I think narcissists are also testing to see if we are able to assert boundaries when maybe their flattery is inappropriate, or they may be testing our self-esteem. Do we seem to really light up when somebody gives us compliments? Is that something that they can use to manipulate us later? And I forgot to say, I think one sign that somebody is flattering you, and this isn't a foolproof sign, but I think when somebody starts throwing compliments out a little too soon, like somebody says, you are so smart, or you are so nice, when they just met us like an hour ago. That can be a sure sign that this person is just throwing compliments at us for some ulterior motives they have. Now, the opposite of flattering people is insulting people. And ironically, insulting you is another way that narcissists can test you. When they insult you, do you care about what they think? Do you take it to heart? Do you believe them? Or do you care enough about their opinion to argue with them? Is insulting you a way that they can control your emotions? I think somebody with really healthy self-esteem that has really worked on their emotional maturity and their ability to handle other people would be able to ignore insults from somebody that is as emotionally immature as a narcissist. Somebody that's in a really healthy, strong place wouldn't really care what a narcissist thinks of them when a narcissist insults them, at least not enough to engage with them and try to convince them that they're wrong and argue with them and spend emotional energy on somebody like a narcissist. Narcissists might also be testing you for how much you care about their opinion as to whether or not you're going to try to prove them wrong. Like if they tell you how lazy you are Are you somebody that's going to take that to heart and think, oh my gosh, I better start working harder if they think I'm lazy? This can be an easy trap to fall into when it's a narcissist that we look up to, or a narcissist that we have strong emotional attachment to, or maybe a narcissist that's a parental figure or a boss or a mentor. Being insulted by a narcissist isn't always obvious. Sometimes we think that they're being constructive because they might actually come out and tell us that. They might insult us and then tell us that they're just giving us constructive criticism. And maybe they're testing us to see if we buy that and if we actually will spend time and energy trying to redeem ourselves or prove them wrong. This can be a really powerful manipulation tool for a narcissist, so a lot of them will test you on this and they will insult you to see how you react. Another way that narcissists will test you is by mirroring you. And by mirroring you, I mean maybe you mention that your favorite color is blue and they say, that's my favorite color. And I mean, that's a really simple example. Maybe you mention a vacation you went on last year. Maybe you went to Hawaii last year and suddenly they're talking about their Hawaiian vacation. Oh, I went to Hawaii. Oh, it was great. And they're just mirroring your interests. They're kind of trying to guess what you want to hear in order to relate to them. They're trying to be relatable. And this can be a way for them to try to develop a sort of fake closeness, fake intimacy, and they may be testing you to see how quickly you develop trust in somebody that mirrors you before you've really actually gotten to know that person. Is their interest in your hobby or their shared experience in something you once did enough for you to start feeling a little closer to them? Enough for you to start feeling like you can relate to and trust this person? I think when narcissists mirror us, depending on how good they are at it, it can feel a little off. And I think somebody in a really healthy position might sense that something's not quite right. I mean, I used a really simple example earlier of saying what your favorite color is, and suddenly they're saying, oh, that's my favorite color. I think for a lot of people that might put up a red flag of, is it? Why are you trying to be like me? Why are you trying to like the things I like? So I think that narcissists can test us for how good we are at picking up on their bullshit. Another way that narcissists can test us is by invading our space. Basically just bulldozing over our boundaries. Do we have any boundaries? Or do we, quote, understand that they are entitled to anything that they want, that they are entitled to get as close to us or to talk to us about anything or to take our time, our resources, our attention, all they want? Do we, quote, understand that they are the center of the universe and that we are just a satellite in their universe revolving around them, the sun? Are you somebody that's willing to say no to a narcissist when they get too close or when they invade your space? Are you somebody that will put boundaries down? Or are you, quote, too nice? Or worse, maybe you like it. Maybe you're already looking up to this person or you're trying to impress this person. And this can be a really vulnerable, dangerous place to be, because when a narcissist invades your space and just bulldozes over your boundaries, if you're already kind of vulnerable and you're already looking to connect with somebody, this can make you feel like you're being chosen for something, like you're special to the narcissist, or that you're developing a more intimate relationship than you really are. You might feel like you're developing a connection with this person when really all that's happening is that they have no respect for your boundaries, and maybe you're not aware that they shouldn't be getting as close as they are, that what they're doing is actually quite inappropriate. Narcissists definitely thrive with people that haven't developed an understanding of the boundaries that they have a right to. And that's something that people recovering from narcissistic abuse really need to work on, is understanding that you have the right to say no, that you have the right to decide what you want to do with your time, and that you don't need to apologize to somebody for now allowing them to dictate every minute of your life. And invading your personal space can be anything from literally getting too close to you physically. Maybe you just met somebody and they just come stand really close to you, or they give you a hug before you feel comfortable hugging them. Or maybe it's not too close physically, maybe they're just asking you inappropriate personal questions. Maybe somebody you just met is asking you about your personal life or your love life, or things that are even more personal than that. Or maybe they don't have respect for your things. Maybe they're asking you if they can borrow your phone or look through your stuff. I don't know. Another way that narcissists will test you is talking to you. I mean, if you've ever been someone that a narcissist has already determined they can talk to, you might know what I mean. They'll just talk and talk and talk and talk. And I've called this diarrhea of the mouth in other videos. And that's really what it is. A narcissist will just sit and talk to you about things that you probably couldn't care less about. And they will just go on and on and on. Sometimes they'll contradict themselves, or the story will change in the middle, or what they're saying will stop making any sense at all. Or maybe it's a pretty good story, but it's just them just vomiting words all over you for who knows how long. And I think that this can be a way that narcissists test people to see how long you'll sit there and listen to them, because it can be kind of awkward, especially if this is somebody that you want to impress or somebody whose opinion you care about. It can be kind of hard to cut them off and say, well, I gotta go, because they're quite aggressive in how tightly they will hold you into this one-sided conversation. And if they can find people that, whether or not they're uncomfortable doing so, are willing to sit and listen to them for hours on end, talk about, I don't know, spear fishing or how to change the oil in your car, that's a win for them. That makes them feel important, like the center of the universe. I mean, who doesn't want people that will just sit there and listen to you for hours on end without interrupting you or trying to talk about themselves? And I don't think that it's so much that they don't have any self-awareness of how annoying this is to people that just can't find it within them to say no or to try to break away. I think they just don't care. They don't care if they're inconveniencing people or boring people to death. They don't care about other people's feelings. I'm listening to this back and I'm actually disagreeing with myself here. On second thought, it's not that narcissists don't care if they're bothering people by talking to them endlessly. It's that they believe that everything they have to say is just monumental, is captivating, is genius. So of course you're going to be enthralled with every word that comes out of their mouth. So they don't think that they're being boring. And if you're bored, something is wrong with you. So that's how they justify going on and on and on and on. Anything they have to say is so much more exciting than anything that you could possibly have to say. And actually, it can get to the point where once they've really got control over you and your emotions, they can start getting angry with you if you try to end the conversation or try to get away. And that's even more unpleasant, especially when whatever it is they've been talking about for the last 2 or 3 hours is so boring and stupid. And I should add, within this test of talking and talking to see if you'll sit and listen is the test of whether or not you're going to believe what they're saying. Because usually when narcissists go on and on and on and on, most of what they're saying is nonsense. It might be based on things that really happen, but even if they tell you a story that's true, maybe their interpretation of it is ridiculous. In some form or another, everything a narcissist says is skewed or wrong or just a bad representation of the facts in some way. Will you sit there and listen to them and believe them? Are you somebody that's going to buy their bullshit? And are you willing to allow them to keep control of the conversation the whole time? I mean, it's not really a conversation, but you're not going to try to take over and talk about anything that you care about, right? And one more way that narcissists test you is to ignore you. I guess you could call this the silent treatment, but I think it's done with a very specific purpose, and that's to see how you react when you're being ignored. When narcissists are giving you the silent treatment, they're trying to punish you, they're trying to hurt you, or they're trying to put you in your place and remind you that you're not in control. But when they're ignoring you to test you, they might be ignoring you to see if you care or if you notice that they're ignoring you. And when you notice that they're ignoring you, do you try to get their attention? Or do you sit and wait patiently for them to pay attention to you? Do you call them out on it? Or do you shrug your shoulders and walk away? They need to know how important their attention is to you so that they can know how to ignore you in the future and control your emotions in that way. How vulnerable are you to being ignored? How badly do you need their attention? What are you willing to put up with? The best way that you can react to the test of being ignored is to ignore the ignoring back. Ignore harder than they ignore you. You might think that calling them out might be effective, but if this turns into an argument, that's a win for them because that shows them that you care, that you're willing to put emotional energy into whether or not they're paying attention to you. And another thing they might be looking out for here is if you try to please them harder, if you try to do what they want, if you up your game, so to speak, in order to get their attention. That's even better. If they can manipulate you into doing their bidding by simply ignoring you, they literally don't have to do anything in order to convince you to do what they want. All of these tests are designed to find people that will serve them, that will look up to them, that will adore them, that will bend over backwards to do whatever they have to do to win the approval and the friendship and maybe the love of the narcissist, which doesn't really exist. I don't think that narcissists are necessarily consciously testing people all the time. I think that this becomes such a habit that it's probably just automatic. They probably aren't even thinking about it while they're doing this. And I'm sure that they do this constantly because narcissists can never have enough people adoring them and doing them favors and trying to impress them. So I think when you run into narcissists that you just met, they're almost sure to be testing you in one of these ways. And it's really helpful not just to look out for these tests, but to consider the way that you react to these tests. And if you have really healthy boundaries and you're not vulnerable in a way that you seek the approval of other people, and you're not willing to spend time and emotional energy on people that insult you or lie to you or take up a whole bunch of your time that you don't have or don't have respect for your boundaries. If you're in a healthy enough space that you just simply walk away from that stuff and don't allow it, and you don't feel like you're losing anything by losing your relationship with somebody that treats you like that, then I think you're automatically just going to fail all of these tests. Narcissists are testing people to find the ones that they can control, to find the ones that they can figure out a way to manipulate and keep under their thumb. Do you defer to them? Do you consider somebody else's opinion more important than your own? Do you care about what somebody that is insulting you thinks of you? And can they convince you to respect somebody that doesn't have any respect for you? If you're looking for a way to support my channel and you've been considering professional therapy, BetterHelp is offering 10% off of your first month of service if you sign up using the link below in my description. And if you sign up using the link below in my description, I will get a one-time commission. So that'll help me out and it will help you out as well if that's something that you've been looking for. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.